Imagine the scene. It's October 10th, 1943. The air is heavy with anticipation. The 100th Bombardment Group, under the command of Major John Egan, prepares to take flight. This is not just any mission, this is the third consecutive day of relentless bombing raids against German targets. A formidable task lies ahead. As the powerful engines roar to life, the aircraft begin to assemble in formation. Each plane has its place, its role to play in this intricate airborne ballet. Among them, at the tail end, is the Royal Flush. This position, known as Tail Charlie, is the most vulnerable, the last line of defense. And the man tasked with steering this perilous course? A young officer, Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal. 13 airplanes take to the skies, not knowing what lies ahead. Among them, the vulnerable Royal Flush, with Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal at the helm. As the formation takes to the skies, the mission begins. The target, Germany. 13 formidable B-17 flying fortresses, with their silver wings cutting through the morning fog, set their sights on a mission that would test their mettle. Underneath their metal armor, the young men, barely out of their teens, steeled themselves for the onslaught that was to come. Among them, the Royal Flush, the Tail Charlie, was perched precariously in the most vulnerable position. Commanded by Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal, they knew the dangers that lay ahead. Yet with unyielding resolve, they powered through the uncertainty. Their aim as clear as the skies they traversed, to hit their German targets and return home. The journey towards the target was fraught with challenges. The formation had to navigate through a gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire, enemy fighters, and unpredictable weather conditions. The skies turned into a battlefield, the air filled with the deafening roar of engines and the acrid smell of gunpowder. Every second in the air was a calculated risk. The formation had to maintain a tight-knit pattern to maximize their defensive firepower against the relentless German attacks. Any deviation could result in a deadly domino effect, putting the entire mission at risk. The Royal Flush, in its precarious position, bore the brunt of the danger. Yet Lieutenant Rosenthal and his crew remained undeterred. They navigated through the harrowing onslaught, their eyes fixed on their target, their spirits unwavering. The mission was not just about dropping bombs, it was about resilience. It was about bravery, it was about proving that even in the face of insurmountable odds, they would not back down. As they approached their target, the dangers became increasingly real. The air grew thick with anticipation, the tension palpable, the enemy relentless. But the Royal Flush and its crew remained undeterred. Their focus was singular: complete the mission and return home. But the real test was yet to come. The attack was imminent, and the Royal Flush, the most vulnerable of the planes, was about to prove its mettle. As they approach their target, the dangers become increasingly real. All the while, the Royal Flush and its crew remain undeterred. Suddenly, the calm is shattered, the formation is under attack. The tranquil sky erupts into a storm of fire and destruction as the German forces unleash their wrath on the American formation. It's a scene of pandemonium, and amidst it all, the Royal Flush, the most vulnerable of them all, fights for survival. The crew of the Royal Flush, led by Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal, is put to the ultimate test. They are young, but their courage is ageless, their resolve unshakable. They are the embodiment of bravery, their spirits refusing to break under the weight of the enemy onslaught. Each burst of anti-aircraft fire, each enemy fighter swooping down, is met with an unyielding determination to fight, to survive, to return home. The sky is ablaze with the fury of the battle. The formation, once a symbol of strength and unity, is now a scene of devastation. One by one, the American planes go down. The sky is littered with the remnants of what was once a formidable force, a tragic testament to the ferocity of the attack. The Royal Flush, despite its precarious position, fights on. Its crew, undeterred by the chaos unfolding around them, continue to navigate through the storm of fire. Their plane, scarred and battered, carries the weight of their resolve. It's not just a machine of war, but a beacon of hope, a testament to their will to survive. Yet the cost of the battle is severe. Of the 13 planes that set off on this mission, most have been shot down, their crews lost in the fiery chaos. The sky, once filled with the roar of engines and the promise of victory, is now silent and grim. The formation is no more, its remnants scattered across the sky. In the midst of chaos and destruction, the Royal Flush stands alone, the last plane standing, Despite the odds, despite the carnage, it endures. The lone survivor of a battle that claimed so many, the Royal Flush carries the hopes and dreams of its fallen comrades. It is the embodiment of resilience, of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. It is a symbol of hope amidst despair. The Royal Flush is indeed the last plane standing. With the mission complete, the journey home begins, but for the Royal Flush, it's a journey fraught with danger. As the smoke of the battlefield clears, the daunting task of the return journey looms. For the crew of the Royal Flush, the plane at the tail end of the formation, the most vulnerable of all, the mission is far from over. The Royal Flush, battered and bruised from the encounter, faces the daunting task of navigating the skies back home. The journey becomes a test of mettle, a testament to the bravery and resolve of the men on board, led by the fearless Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal. Rosenthal, a young officer with the weight of his crew's lives on his shoulders, steers the Royal Flush through the hostile skies. Each creaking sound from the plane, every shudder of its frame, is a stark reminder of the adversity they faced and the challenge that lies ahead. The return journey is fraught with perils. Enemy fighters still prowl the skies, ready to pounce on any straggling aircraft. The weather is unpredictable, the winds unforgiving, and the cold, biting. Yet, the crew of the Royal Flush perseveres. Determination etched on their faces, they work tirelessly to keep the plane airborne, to guide it back to the safety of their base. But the true battle is not against the elements or the enemy fighters. It's a battle of endurance, of willpower. It's a battle against the creeping tendrils of despair that threaten to engulf them. Rosenthal's leadership shines in these trying times. His unwavering resolve, his steadfast determination, becomes the beacon that guides his crew. He rallies them, not with grand speeches or lofty promises, but with his actions. His calm demeanor in the face of adversity, his refusal to give in to despair, inspires his crew. It's this unyielding spirit, this refusal to surrender, that sees them through the most challenging part of their mission. The Royal Flush, against all odds, continues to soar through the skies, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its crew. Despite all odds, the Royal Flush continues its journey home, a beacon of hope in the midst of despair. Against all odds, a solitary figure appears on the horizon. The Royal Flush has returned. The return of the Royal Flush was nothing short of a miracle. The plane, its silhouette stark against the setting sun, was a beacon of hope in the midst of a war that often seemed hopeless. On the ground, the men watched in astonishment as the Royal Flush made its descent. The airfield, usually bustling with activity, fell silent. The hum of the plane's engines was the only sound that could be heard. The men held their breath, their eyes fixed on the plane. As the Royal Flush touched down, a collective sigh of relief swept through the crowd. They had dared not to hope, but here was their proof. The Royal Flush had survived. The significance of the Royal Flush's return was not lost on the men on the ground. This was not just about one plane making it back, it was a testament to their resilience, their determination, and their bravery. It was a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, they could and would persevere. And let's not forget about the crew. These were ordinary men thrown into extraordinary circumstances. They were young, barely out of their teens, yet they were asked to carry out a mission that would have tested the mettle of even the most seasoned veterans. Their bravery, their skill, their sheer will to survive was nothing short of heroic. The return of the Royal Flush was a beacon of hope in a time of despair. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in our darkest hour, there is always a glimmer of hope. In the face of overwhelming odds, the Royal Flush and its crew had done the impossible. They had returned home. October 10th, 1943, a day that would forever be remembered as the Day of the Bloody 100. The 100th Bombardment Group, under the command of Major John Egan, had embarked on a mission that would etch their name in the annals of history. 13 aircraft took off, but only one returned, the Royal Flush, piloted by Lieutenant Robert Rosenthal, the young officer at the helm of the most vulnerable plane in the formation. This mission, despite its heavy losses, played a crucial role in the larger strategy of the war. The Bloody 100's sacrifice disrupted German operations and paved the way for the eventual victory of the Allied forces. The legacy of the 100th Bombardment Group and their indomitable spirit resonates even today. A tale of bravery and resilience against all odds. The Royal Flush, the last plane standing, had become a symbol of resilience and determination. A testament to the human spirit in the face of adversity.